COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey, coronavirus, I want my life back.
This evening's show comes to you with a warning. Technically, everything that could go wrong went wrong 10 minutes ago. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that the gods of technology will smile upon this show and upon us this evening. How is everybody doing? If you are like me, you are fretting about your isolation weight. Yes, we have been a little bit more sedentary. We have been a little bit more stressed. We've been stress eating. We haven't been getting out as much. In fact, you know what? I was doing so well before isolation. I was doing my at least 10,000 steps a day, sometimes more. So I want to show you something here. Okay, so I went back to January from my step count. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I went back to January. So there you go. This was a 1 week in January, average per day, 9,186 steps. Watch what happens with isolation. So I'm going to switch now to this week, or last week, I should say. Watch what happens. Average of 718 steps a day. Shame on you, Kevin. Shame on you. And I can hear my guests already. They're both going to be angry at me. Yeah. Oh, hello. How are you? Nice to see both of you. I would like to introduce you. First of all, let's start with Joy. Joy McCarthy has been here before. She is a certified holistic nutritionist and founder of Joyous Health, an award-winning blog focused on healthy living. She is the best-selling author of a number of books. Her latest is a Joyous Cookbook. Hello, Joy.
Hey, Kevin. Nice to be back.
Nice to have you back. And also coming back, Julie Tom. More than a fitness trainer, she truly is a movement specialist. She's been working in the fitness and health industry for almost 20 years with 3 degrees and over 20 health movement certificates. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Kevin.
Okay.
Thanks for having me back.
It's good to have you back. We almost got into a fight last time, so Joy and I have not argued, but Julie and I argue all the time.
That's how it goes.
Just to let you know, Julie was my trainer a while back when I was in Barrie, and she's fantastic. So, but she's a slave driver, or I just didn't work all that hard. I don't know what it was. So we're going to talk about the isolation weight, and you saw you heard what I was talking about. My steps. It is so true. We have put this weight on through everything, through stress eating, through not going anywhere. You know, even if we just went to work and back, we're at least doing more than 700 steps a day. Which one of you can pick this up? Either. You're both just nodding.
I have a question for you.
All right, go ahead, Joy, with your question, as long as it's not too difficult.
Why are you not walking?
Well, I've been busy with this show, and then it's also kind of like, where is there really to go? I've done all my walking and things like that, but I'm just sort of like, okay, where is... I'm making excuses, okay? I'm making excuses.
Yeah, you totally are. I'm going to call you out on that. I walk every day, and I do at-home workouts, and I'm like you, super busy, because we're basically running a full-time business part-time. But I am still getting out every day for fresh air, and I'm still doing my workouts. I think it's about, still having a schedule for yourself. I'm sure Julie will talk about this more, but that's what has kept me on track, is that I still am kind of like living off my calendar like I was before, so that I make sure I get in that outdoor movement.
Absolutely. I was just going to say the same thing. You haven't scheduled yourself, your time, your me time. So you just fit in other things. You got other excuses, like you said, but it's about scheduling your me time and putting it in. And so having a routine, we are creatures of habit, and your body and your brain crave pattern. And so you need to create that pattern again that you had before the isolation.
Okay, now what I asked of you two was to sort of come up with a few 5 points that people can follow in an easy manner for nutrition. So Joy, you're going to handle that. And for movement. And Julie, I found it interesting because I never really realized this, that you call yourself a movement specialist, not just a fitness trainer. Tell me about that.
No. Because movement and exercise aren't the same thing at the end of the day. So we are creatures, the way we explore our environment is through movement, not through exercise. So if you think about exercise, when was exercise truly invented? Well, probably in the 1950s and 60s. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you get big, and you had Jane Fonda, you did the aerobics. So the men and women were taken care of. But what happened before that? So how do we survive? How did we survive back then? And so movement is about survival. And I work with people who are looking for sustainable living and who want to live a long, healthy life without the aches and pains. And like we all know, you get older, you talk to anybody above 40, and we pretty much all have aches and pains. And if you're an athlete of some sort, you probably have a little bit more than somebody else because you've patterned your body in a different way. So I focus on movement to allow it to be fun and interesting and sustainable.
And I have to tell people as well, yes, I do hear the chipmunk in the background. There has been really weird things happening with the internet today. And so just bear with us. And maybe the chipmunks will help us do some workouts in a little bit as well. All right, Joy, let's start with your tips. And I'm going to start with the first one that you had sent, and it's hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Yeah, so important. And by the way, the more you hydrate, the more you're going to move your body because you got to get up and go to the washroom.
Yes.
Yes.
So I always say, you know, the first thing that should pass by your lips when you wake up in the morning is a glass of water. I always have a mason jar sitting on the table beside my bed, and I guzzle a glass of water. Then when I get up, I love my lemon and water because lemon helps to stimulate the body, stimulate digestion. Stimulate is good because then when you do go to eat, you'll have stronger digestive wellness and you'll have better poops. Lemon and water is also excellent for the liver to help the liver better detoxify. And if you don't like lemons or you have a sensitivity to citrus, you could use raw, unpasteurized apple cider vinegar. And you can use just like a teaspoon and put that in about 250 ml of water and use that to start your day. That really gets sort of the engine churning.
Now,
can I add one tip there? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just add one tip? One tip that I learned is that if you're going to work out first thing in the morning, you're actually better to put lime in your water because lime affects your pH. So lemon is more acidic, where lime is not as acidic. So if you're going to work out first thing in the morning, you want your pH to balance out. So lime is often better in the morning. If you work out in the morning, that is.
All right.
Yeah, so the other thing to consider is that it's interesting because foods that are acidic, some foods that are acidic actually have an alkalinizing effect on the body. So that's where lemon is like really cool. And lime is similar too. They're both rich in enzymes, so they help to stimulate hydrochloric acid. But you're right, Julie, like maybe if you're someone who gets really hungry before workout, lemon can stimulate a strong digestive fire, setting you up for a good meal. So you may end up being too hungry, but if you're not working out first thing in the morning, I definitely do that. Or the apple cider vinegar, and you can do that before every single meal. Doing a little bit of apple cider vinegar with a smaller amount of water really, again, helps to stimulate good digestion. And that is really the foundation of great health and helping you actually burn fat better by keeping your digestive system tuned up. So lemon and water, and then continue to drink water throughout the day, because a lot of people confuse thirst with hunger and they're, eating when they're actually hungry. So a good way to, if you're, just kind of bored and thinking you're going to eat out of boredom, say to yourself, okay, if I'm going to eat, I have to drink this entire glass of water before I eat that sandwich or whatever that is. And that's a good way of identifying your hunger cues.
That is a really I like that. I like that kind of that idea. A lot of discussion here. I'm going to pass on some things people are talking about. Warm water, cold water.
Yeah, so you want water the water that you're going to most quickly assimilate is going to be water that is the temperature of your body. So room temperature would be ideal. But if you're someone who just hates room temperature water, then you know what? If you're drinking ice cold water, at least you're drinking something, I always say. But, room temp is really ideal.
Okay. And someone says they chop up ginger and put it in their water?
Yeah. Well, ginger is very anti-inflammatory. So that's something I do in the evenings. I'll chop up fresh ginger root and put it in a hot mug of water because the warmth is going to help to break down the ginger and bring out those phytonutrients. You could put in a little bit of honey That's something you could do as well if ever you have tummy troubles. Do a bit of lemon and squeeze half a lemon. Do your ginger in there as well. And ginger, because it is so anti-inflammatory, it really helps to calm the intestines and calm any sort of like gassy, bloated, or just like a yucky feeling in your gut. So it's like a nice little tea to have.
Someone here says they hate the taste of water, and that's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, so you know what I do? I actually don't love the taste of water either. So in my fridge, I just always have, because I'm one of those people, I really like ice cold water. I know it's not like ideal for me, but I keep it in the fridge and I chop up cucumbers. Sometimes I have strawberries, and it infuses the flavor in there. And it's really tasty, and it really definitely helps you drink a little bit more water. You could do a little bit of lemon. You could put lime. You could put a few drops of stevia in your water as well, so it's a little bit sweeter. Mm-hmm. And I'm not anti-carbonated water. If you have like Soda Stream and you're not using any of the flavors, just making plain carbonated water, if that helps you drink more water, that's something you could do as well.
Something to chime in too is I actually have alkaline water, and that there is a slight taste difference. So if somebody doesn't like a particular taste, try alkaline water. That it does have a different taste, if you will.
Yeah, and
I find.
And here's someone saying you can add cucumber, blueberries, mint, etc., into that water and flavor it naturally.
Yeah. Makes it so yummy.
All right. Let's get to your second one. That is 50% veggies on your plate at least, and especially the green one. Why, Julie, why are you laughing?
Because it's great in theory. But honestly, like what I find, it's great in theory, but the problem is because I can't go, like I'm a family of 5, to get to the grocery store as often as I need to get the fresh vegetables and keep them there for the 5 of us every day is really hard.
Okay, so
that's a legit thing that I'm struggling with.
That can be a really good point too, especially now. So tell me about the vegetables on your plate. What can they be? And perhaps there's something that's longer lasting.
Yeah, so I totally get you, Julie, because I am actually my family, we have always we shop more than once per week, but with obviously COVID-19, we're shopping less. So what I have been doing is keeping my freezer stocked with things like frozen broccoli, green beans, peas, and a lot of foods nowadays are flash frozen, and the vitamin C will actually be higher than the fresh counterpart in your grocery store. So there's no problem, and there's no reason you can't make sure that your freezer is stocked with frozen and then also have fresh. And there's so many easy ways to incorporate more vegetables throughout the day. If you're thinking, well, vegetables at breakfast, how am I going to do that? Well, throw a handful of spinach into your smoothie, make an omelet, and then throw some kale or tomatoes into your omelet. Like there's so many easy ways. Chop up some celery and some carrots, keep it in your fridge beside the hummus. And I suggest doing half of your plate with plant foods, more vegetables, because they're so full of fiber and phytonutrients and minerals that are really going to help you thrive and help you have a strong immune system. And we know that most Canadians are not eating enough plant foods.
Well, you know what I've been doing every morning is I've been getting some peppers and onions and cutting them up and throwing them in with some spinach in a fry pan, and then mixing in eggs with them.
Sounds so good. So like an egg scramble.
Yeah, and I love the taste of spinach and eggs for some reason. You get it's
too.
Really good.
Really yummy.
All right, let's go. What was that? That was number 2. Number 3 from Joy's tips. Protein and good fat every meal. So you gave some examples of eggs, hemp hearts, lentils, chicken, and fish.
Yeah, so protein is really important to stimulate your metabolism, and also protein and fat are super important to balance out your blood sugar because they take about 3 up to 4 hours to digest, whereas complex carbohydrates, even though they're rich in fiber, are going to digest much faster and you're going to be hungry sooner. So anyone who's, concerned or just wanting to manage their weight and manage their appetite, making sure you eat a source of protein and fat. And also fat promotes the secretion of leptin. And leptin is a hormone that tells you to stop eating. So this is why it's so important to have fat at every single meal and snack.
But
so
a
that
good
you
fat,
actually,
yeah.
yeah, good
Yeah.
fats. Yeah, whether it's avocado, like for breakfast today, I had avocado toast. I had some sliced organic cheese on top, drizzled some olive oil, some sea salt. It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because these are all things Julie has been telling me for years about and it's for movement, for proper movement, and sort of like greasing the joints, so to speak, in your body, keeping things moving.
Yeah, and fats are so important for joint health too, because good fats are, higher in omega-3s, like whether it's fish or sardines, and you need those for healthy joints to reduce inflammation in the body. So really important for so many factors.
Okay, here we go with number 4. This is interesting. Fast 12 hours a day. Tell me about
Yeah,
that.
at least. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of fasting. There's really impressive research on fasting. So, 12 hours a day, a lot of people might think, oh, I'm already doing that. But you really want to assess, your last bite after dinner, what time is that? If it's 7 or 8, and then literally don't eat again for 12 hours. I think most people don't realize like how much they're kind of nibbling in the evening. But I also think when you set sort of boundaries and you say, okay, I'm actually not going to eat anything after dinner because I am fasting, it actually helps you sort of stay on track. So this it's excellent for your metabolism. It is fantastic for your blood sugar control. There's been research, people have been really, people with hypoglycemia, people with type 2 diabetes, have had major benefits by intermittent fasting, and also weight loss as well. It's just, when you eat breakfast should be to break the fast. And so that's why I recommend 12 hours. And if you start doing that and you want to experiment a little bit more, you could go a little bit longer and just see how your body feels. And you can drink coffee. Coffee doesn't break a fast. So if you are a coffee drinker, and the nice thing about coffee, it kind of suppresses your appetite a little bit. So if wake up at 6 and you're like, oh, I can't eat for 2 hours, you could have a coffee or a green tea, provided you're not someone whose, constitution, coffee makes you very sort of nervous and anxious, because everyone is different, right?
Yeah, in fact, that's just a question Jen just asked, if you can drink tea in the morning during the 12-hour fast. So that answers that question. I know, Julie, that you fast.
I do. I'm an intermittent. I actually do. My first meal is usually around noon or 1 o'clock. I fast actually 16 to 18 hours.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, and it's like, it wasn't like, it was just almost like a progression, because I was that person that I'm like, why am I really eating breakfast? And like, I was really honing in on digestive issues, and fasting just really worked for me and my lifestyle. And ironically, it's like my kids notice, like your kids do a lot of things the same you do. And the kids notice that I don't eat breakfast, for instance. My first meal is usually at their lunchtime. And so, if my kids ask me, do I have to have breakfast? I'm like, well, are you hungry? And so a lot of times, because a lot of people eat because it's a normal thing, but you have to learn to listen to your body as well. And that's something that I really, in terms of the movement aspect, is just kind of tune in with what's going on with your body. And if you don't feel hungry, then wait a little bit longer. It's okay. It's not like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, I got to eat, like your mom always told you type thing. Like my mom always, like, we got to eat at 5 o'clock because that's what we do. It doesn't have to go that way.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just going to put, hold on 1 second here. I just pushed the wrong, what's going on? What's happening? Oh, hold on. I'm going to put this one up here. Where did that one go? Because this is something that's happened to me too. Linda, there we go. I get dizzy. And I've seen that happen, or I've had that happen as well.
Yeah, you know what? Fasting isn't for everybody. There are some people that it doesn't work for.
Exactly.
I talk about fasting, but I am not someone who likes to fast past 12 hours. I'm a fast oxidizer. I go burn through the foods I eat very quickly. So for me, fasting longer than that, I am one of those people who don't feel great going till noon like Julie. But my husband Walker, he loves fasting till noon. He does that often, and it actually helped him lean out a lot by doing that when he started fasting. And just your digestion improves, because you really need to give your digestive system a break. We're just not meant to be eating all the time. And just like Julie was saying, listen to your body. I'm not a fan of just snacking all the time. You really want to eat when you feel the sensation of hunger. That's really important. So, if it's 5 o'clock and that's normally when you eat dinner, if you're not hungry, don't eat. Wait until you actually feel the sensation of hunger.
I want to emphasize something here because, and I'm going to put this up, but this is not correct. Can't fast if you're a diabetic. It's actually the exact opposite because I've been reading those studies too. In fact, there's a Toronto doctor, I believe, at East General, who is, or no, it's out in I think it's Scarborough Gen. Anyway, he is pioneering fasting for diabetics.
Yes.
Why is it good for diabetics?
Well, it depends what kind of diabetic you are as well. If you're type 2 diabetic versus a type 1 diabetic. Like people are, one is more of a lifestyle disease, right? Where you're able to, there's been research where people have been completely able to reverse type 2 diabetes. So it depends what kind of diabetes you have. I think that's what's really key. I don't know if there's, maybe Julie or Kevin, you are aware of new research coming out about type 1 diabetes?
I'm not too sure. Dr. Jason Fung, thank you, Pam. Pam just reminded me of that. So if you look up Dr. Fung on Google, folks, some very interesting things. And he is pioneering it. He's a world pioneer in this. I don't know about type 1 diabetics when it comes to this, though, so I can't advise. Obviously, it's something you need to talk to your doctor about.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely. You know what? If you have any sort of medical conditions, you definitely need to talk with your doctor or your, natural healthcare practitioner, whether that's a naturopath, and talk to them about this because you don't want to just be trying these types of things. You want to be cautious about that.
Okay, let's get to number 5 here on Joy's tips. Ditch the refined sugar and the table salt.
Yeah, so this is my favorite one. Well, first of all, salt really stimulates your appetite, and refined sugar is just not something that's naturally present in nature. So our taste buds really adapt to these super tastes, and this is why the fast food industry, sugar, fat, salt, they have made all of these foods so intensely flavored that our dopamine just fires when we even see these foods, and they become very, very addictive. So I think we talked about this, Kevin, the last time I was on. We were talking about like stress eating, and I'd say sugar is the one that you have to go cold turkey. You can't have a little bit one day and a little bit another day. If you are someone that feels like you are addicted to sugar, you have to go cold turkey. If you are someone who feels like I can have a little bit and I can manage it, that's fine. But that's not most people. So when I talk about refined sugar, cookies that are made with white sugar and brown sugar and, baked goods and even things like white pasta and white rice, even though they don't have white refined sugar in them, when you eat them, they break down into glucose very quickly because they have no fiber to slow down digestion. So cutting out refined sugar, but there's lots of natural sugars you can use. If you're a baker like me, I love to bake. I use things like monk fruit sweetener, which is very low in the glycemic index, honey, maple syrup. Like there's so many ways to sweeten your food. Applesauce, many different ways. So,
yeah. And again, I've gotten away from brown sugar on my oatmeal. I just put berries and raisins on it, and that. So, and you get used to it. That's the thing. At first, I didn't like it. But now, when I get away from sugar, I get away from salt. I find now when I have salt in the food, I can really, really taste it. It stands out.
Sure.
You don't realize how much salt and sugar is in everything.
Yeah, and your taste buds really do adapt, particularly when you're starting to eat more nutrient-dense foods that have things like zinc, which help to actually stimulate your taste buds, so you can taste more foods. So when you start to cut out that junk, you actually realize that there's so many flavors in food, and food is like pretty amazing because phytonutrients are the plant chemicals within food that give food flavor, and whole foods have so many different flavors.
Stress eating and boredom eating. That is the main problem that people seem to be having from what I can see on the boards here. So there's that stress eating, there's that boredom eating, there's that need for a sugar fix.
Yeah.
And you know what? It just overtakes you. So
I think the key thing is, so something that I do when I feel like I'm going to eat out of boredom is I move my body. There are so many people on Instagram that are doing like dance videos. I follow the DJ, the guy that's on Ellen and his wife. They do like dance parties every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I've been doing their dance parties with my daughter. And so that's something, so find something that you really enjoy, like pick up a hobby. But for me, getting my body moving and just dancing, I forget all about food and I'm feeling so good in my body and having so much fun. So I think people need to find something they enjoy as much as food.
If you are going to stress eat or boredom eat, I guess one of the things I tend to be good for a week or two. Like, so my go-to for a while was cut up peppers and hummus. But then it's like, okay, I've done that. Now what else do I want to do? So what are your go-to foods?
Oh, for me, and I think we talked about this before, but I really love like chocolate avocado pudding or key lime pudding with an avocado. So I always have things that are fatty. So I know if I'm going to eat it, that I'm not going to eat the whole thing because I'm going to get full really fast. So the key is to avoid things like chips and like snack foods that are just so light and airy, but yet just full of so much junk, but you end up eating, an entire bag of Doritos versus how many, if you make an chocolate avocado pudding, like how much of that are you going to eat? It's so rich in fat. And I think, Kevin, for you, what's key is to have like variety. So have like a couple of different snack ideas that you're kind of, rotating. If you're someone who likes more salty stuff, then have those ideas. If you like more sweet, then have, healthy options for that. I always keep different frozen balls in my freezer that I make with like nuts and seeds and medjool dates. I always keep that stuff in my freezer because I love to have tea mid-afternoon when I'm in the office, and then have like one of those little raw cookie balls, and that like will keep me satisfied.
Okay, now you have a bonus one. I only asked you for 5, but you gave me a bonus tip here as well. And I think Julie will agree with this as well for working out, and that is sleep. Sleep, important.
Yep. Number one.
Absolutely. You know what? If you eat really well and you move your body, you get all those things nailed, but you're not making sleep a priority, you won't lose weight. It's just not possible.
Won't matter.
Your body will just stay in an inflammatory state. And also your appetite hormones are increased when you get if you get less than 7 hours of sleep per night. So adults need 7 to 9 hours. Sleep is really, really important to keep your appetite in check because it's like working against you if you are not. And also getting to bed, at a reasonable time as well. So having that wind down time. But I just wanted to add that final thing because lifestyle is so key.
All right. Just so you know, folks, what I've done is I have taken these tips and they are on my Facebook page. So you can print those off. So and now we really emphasize that your body and what you put in it are important for your mental health as well. So this all goes hand in hand with good mental health, especially for people during this time. So I'm going to switch over now to some of Julie's tips. And Julie, again, gave you the same assignment to come up with 5 tips that we can get moving again for many of us who have been sitting and really binging on Netflix. So let's start with number 1, walk and sprint.
Yep. So, we talked about it in the last show, but I know, like you're saying, your step count has gone down. The idea is set a goal for yourself. So, the idea is to just get up and move. And so if you are watching Netflix, before you turn on the next episode, get up, walk around your couch, and then watch another episode. So if you just get into a new habit of just getting up and moving your feet a little bit, it'll be a little bit easier. The reason I put in sprints is for people who need a little bit of that challenge. If you are going to get outside, like Joy said, she gets out every day. So I recommend sprinting to get your heart rate elevated a little bit. It's recommended that you do about 20 minutes of getting your heart rate up. You can go vacuum your house and get your heart rate up. So it just depends on how you do it. But adding sprints in there will add just that extra ability for you to burn some fat and to be able to lose some of the weight that you're looking for. So you can it's on a sliding scale. You either do low and slow or quick and fast. And so which leads into the next one, but adding in sprints is really good instead of just always going for that long, that 2.5 hour, that 2 kilometer walk. Try to add some sprints in there, and that'll stimulate the metabolism a little bit more.
Okay, I want to get through some more tips. So everybody stay with us because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lightning round when we're done these tips. And we have a bit of a workout too, by the way. I should warn you, I will be working out.
Yes!
What?
And I won't yell at you this time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you both of you for your support. I appreciate that greatly. But we're going to do a lightning round afterwards. I've seen some great questions, things like superfoods and workouts for menopause, things like that. So we're going to do a lightning round when we're done here. But we'll get through some of these tips. Let's get to tip number 2 for you, Julie, and that is a Tabata.
Tabata, yep.
So that is 20 seconds of fast-paced exercise, 10 seconds rest, and you do that 8 times.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's from the HIIT interval training genre, if you will. It's very popular. It's short. It's fast. So so I actually have clients that sometimes when they're standing in the laundry room waiting for their dryer to finish, they do a Tabata. You just put it on your phone. You can follow the music. It's really simple. It's really quick. For people that it's raining outside, like here in Barrie, it's been snowing last week. It's, I'm not going outside. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stand up and I'm going to put on my music and I'm just going to punch the air because I'm frustrated and I'm angry. And instead of boredom, I'm going to punch the air, because I'm whatever. It really, it will stimulate those juices, and it's super fast, and there's zero excuse with it. And you can literally, my mom actually she found it and she told me she shimmies to it. So she likes to belly dance. So she literally just shimmies. If you can't get out of a chair, just move around any way you can. And that's a Tabata. 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds off.
As there is always an excuse.
Please
always remember there is always an excuse.
Sure. I'm just trying to eliminate as many as possible. I have a 1 minute warm up. I mean, I've gotten down to that, but a 4-minute interval is so much better for you. If you just do that alone and for every day, you'll notice, it'll start stimulating things to get you moving more, but it really does make a difference.
Well, that leads us to your third tip, and that is dance.
Yep. Who seriously doesn't like to put on music and dance? You see, TikTok is huge. My husband joined it now. You see all these kids doing all these
who has 2 thumbs and doesn't like to dance? This guy.
But you like music. Seriously, put on a song and it wants to make you will move.
You cannot dance to Leonard Cohen. I'm sorry.
It's not what?
You can't dance to Leonard Cohen.
Sure you can.
You can sway.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. You can kind of sway, whatever. It doesn't have to be fast as long as you're moving your body in any way, shape, or form. But the key is, just to get up and dance in any way, shape, or form that you enjoy.
Okay. Number 4. Oh, sorry, where were we here? It was number 4, right? I think. Yes. Yep. Yoga, movement, stretching.
Yep. So this one is for people who are high stressed. So if you're a high stress person and you feel like you're here, doing Tabatas and doing sprints are probably not the best idea for you because you're overstressed. So by exercise is a form of stress. And so if you're already up to here, doing more of that is not going to benefit you. And that's where exercise and movement differ a lot, because a lot of people think they have to go to the gym and it's this requirement that I have to do and I have to push myself and I have to sweat and I'm going to be sore the next day and blah, 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 blah. That's not necessarily true. So you have to learn to understand that if you're stressed, yoga is phenomenal. Stretching, I call them movement flows or movement snacks. So they're just moving your body in different stretches. Mobilizing the joint is really, I'm all about joint health. So mobilizing the joint in the best way you can, and stretching. So any way you can stretch. A lot of people are like, I'm inflexible. Well, you might be inflexible. There's a lot of reasons why you could be inflexible. But it could be from your eating, what you're eating and not drinking enough water. But just, again, not moving your body enough. So doing that will help people that are highly stressed. That's why I put that one in there.
All right. And someone, Lori, just makes a very good point here. Stretch before you get out of bed. You rarely see a cat get up without stretching.
Exactly.
So true.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Tip number 5, and something we're going to work on in just a moment, circuit workouts.
Yes. So circuit workouts. So this is the body weight strength. So as we age, what happens is we lose muscle mass. And so what we want to do is do our best to prevent sarcopenia from setting in. So we want to build up our muscles. So I put circuit training to help us do body weight exercises. The exercise that I'm showing you today, all you need is a hallway. So I'm pretty sure, unless you live in a studio, you can do it right in the middle of your studio apartment. And you can do all these, not in a lot of space, just using your body weight to your own ability.
All right. We're going to take a bit of a break, and when we come back, and we're just going to do some examples of some circuits. Julia's prepared 2 circuits, and again, I have put that on the Facebook, on my Facebook page for you to use and follow, and you can sort of mix and match them. So, Julie, we're going to do that in a few minutes. And Joy, we're going to get back to more questions. So many great questions people have here.
Awesome.
About what foods are best for different times. So, folks, keep your questions. And we're going to do some real quick stuff at the end. So stand by. We're going to come back to the two of you in just a moment. First of all, though, I want to get into my biz bump for today. Now, our featured biz bump actually came to me in a very interesting way. It was brought to my attention by viewer Lynn Engo. She runs a nail tech business, but had to, of course, close down for social distancing. And she was surprised. She's in the Oshawa area, and she's surprised to get a note and a delivery from this place I'm about to advertise that is apparently sending sweet care packages to many small business owners in the Oshawa area that have had to close. So here is tonight's Biz Bump for Cupcake Goodness in Oshawa. Like most sweet shops, Cupcake Goodness is operating online. Carla doing her best to keep up with orders. How about some sugar cookies made especially for social distancing? Look at these. They'll be ready for delivery on Friday, but you have to place your order no later than Thursday, 3 p.m. Check out our website for all the details. Go to cupcakegoodness.store. We'll be right back with a workout. All right, we are back. Here I am. I'm ready for a bit of a workout. So we're here with Joy McCarthy, who is a holistic nutritionist, and Julie Tom, who is a movement specialist. And we're going to do a couple of circuits. So Julie, you were suggesting that circuit workouts, 1 or 2 rounds of 10 to 12 reps each. So we're going to go with circuit round number 1. So let's go ahead with that one. And we're only doing a bit of it. We're not doing a 20-minute workout here, Julie.
Nope, that's okay.
All right.
So do you want me to talk about them, or do you want me to?
Tell me which one first and what it's good for.
Okay, so the first one we're going to do is called the sumo squat touchdown. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your feet as wide as you physically can, pointing your knees out and feet out slightly to the side. What you're going to do is you're going to sink down in a chair. So the big thing with this one is not tucking your tail around under you. You want to pretend like there's a chair back there, and you're going to sit down on it as low as you can. Okay? Then your arms are going to go straight up to the side. Imagine I'm coming up behind you, and I'm trying to push your arms down, but you're not going to do it. So you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together.
Hold on. I moved this camera by mistake. I'm sorry.
You just want me to hang out in this position and burn, don't you?
Wouldn't it just be easier to put a chair down?
You want knee work.
See, look at that.
So no, yes. So come up about 2 inches off that chair now.
Okay.
And now try to touch the back of your calves. Squeeze the shoulder blades the whole time. Pretend you're between 2 panes of glass.
Okay.
Move your body.
I am moving
side to side.
Okay. Oh, like this.
Are you?
Like that?
See your arms?
Yes,
Bring your arms up a little bit higher. Bring your arms up here. Here. Like you're going to come in and give someone a big hug like this.
Let me see you. Hold on. We'll just go to Julie's camera. Hold on. Poor Parker here. Parker's actually, he's running around trying to keep me on the air. Okay, go ahead, Julie.
So arms up to the side like this.
Okay.
Okay, and now try to touch the back of your calf.
Okay.
And then try to touch the other calf.
All right.
And try to touch the other calf.
Okay.
So both sides is 1 rep. So we do 1, 1, 2, 2, and then come back up. Okay?
All right.
Good?
Let's move on to
next
another one.
All right. So the next one's an inchworm. So
remember,
depending.
I put these, by the way, I put these on my Facebook page. So if you want, you can print them out and try it yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So this one, just a disclaimer, if you have wrist issues, then you can do this against the wall. So what you would do is literally you're going to inch yourself up a wall and then come back down.
Okay.
But what an inchworm but technically what you're going to do is you're going to come down and try to touch your toes. So Kevin, you're going to have to bend your knees just a little bit to be able to get to the floor. Okay, and then what you're going to do is touch the floor and then walk your hands away from you to a plank. Okay. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Okay. And go ahead and stand back up.
Okay, here we go.
All right, give it a go. Walk out. Perfect. And then come back in.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, but then you have to get back up?
Yeah, you have to get back up. And then, there you go.
All right. All right.
That's it. So we do that 10 times.
Right.
The idea is to try to keep your legs straight if you can. Again, if your wrists bother you, you can go up the wall. Okay?
All right, next one.
All right. Next one's a mountain climber.
Okay.
Everybody loves a mountain climber.
Mountain climber is
all right,
like,
you're going to go to a plank.
This,
you know this one.
It's like
yes.
this.
Touch your knee to your elbow.
Like that, right?
Or elbow to knee. Elbow to knee. Yeah, elbow to knee.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at
all
you
right.
go.
I hate the mountain climber.
See, you still remember how to do it.
Joy, are you doing these?
I am.
Oh,
okay. She's rocking it.
Okay.
Mountain climber it up. Okay, so if you want to make those super hard, go super slow.
Okay.
Just saying.
And you're saying each of these exercises do how many times?
10 times.
Okay.
To start.
Okay.
Just 10 to start. If, let's say you can't do 10, that's okay. Do 5.
Okay.
If today you can only do 2, do 2. It's okay. No one's judging you. It's all good. Do it. Move your body as best you can.
I know Joy is doing it because we lost you. Like, we went to your camera and she's not there.
She's getting her movement in. She's going to sleep well tonight. It's good.
I love it. Okay. Give me another one.
All right,
What's the next one?
Next one's a little bit trickier. This one's called the lateral side chop. So you're going to bring your hands up nice and tall above your head. You're going to make yourself like a pencil. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a step to the side and chop your hand on the outside of your knee and then come back to your pencil position. When you're in your pencil, squeeze everything you got. Squeeze what your mama gave you and then chop it out to the outside. Bring it up, chop it to the outside. If you have knee problems, keep your legs straight. Don't worry about bending your knee. It's all good. Okay, so you're just going to go step out to the side, hinge at the hip, squeeze it, hinge at the hip, squeeze it. You got it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You got it.
So that's a certain.
And the last.
Yeah, keep going.
One more. Dead bug.
Dead bug.
Remember the dead bug?
That's on your back, right?
Yeah.
And
you remember this one?
Usually we did this with a Pilates ball before.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Well, imagine we don't have one. So take your right hand and grab behind your left knee.
Okay.
Hold those really tight. Resist each other. Resist that. Now you're not going to move that side. Now you're going to take your left hand and right foot up to the sky.
Oh, I see.
And then drop them to the floor.
Okay.
Drop your hand above your head.
What?
Hand above your head. Bring your hand above your head and then bring it up to the sky. So you're just like you're waving it, like you just don't care.
Okay.
Up, down.
Like that?
Up, down. Yep. Put your head on the ground. You don't need your head for it. Put your head down. Ta-da! Dead bug. Good job. Woohoo!
Okay. All right.
This is really, really good for brain patterning. That's why it's there. It's actually what I recommend for people to do who do a lot of planks, and they have, like, if you especially have diastases, this is a really good core exercise. If you have had a C-section or any kind of abdominal issues, this is a really, really good one to master because there's so many variations of it.
Yeah.
And it works on your brain patterning.
And folks, I know this is not an incredible display of fitness here, but the idea is to get moving and to think about it. And I think, Julie or Joy, you can answer this. A lot of people say they get into it, but they just can't make it a habit. Any suggestions or thoughts on making this a habit?
I think what's key, we talked about this a bit already, but like getting it in your schedule and I always remind myself, I'm going to feel so good once I'm done. And I also think of the day, there's, in a 24-hour day, like how many minutes, I don't know how many minutes we have. In a 24-hour day, we have a lot. So I just
Alexa, how many minutes are there in a day?
167?
One day is 1,440 minutes.
1,140 minutes.
1,000.
That's it.
Okay, so
1,440 minutes.
How long does it take you to do these exercises? Like you could, bang out 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So for me, I just remind myself, I know how good movement makes me feel, and that's what keeps me on track.
And what I've been doing is every morning I go live at 7:45 in the morning and do 10 minutes of movement, and people are welcome to join me just to get in the habit of getting up. Because if you get more moving in the morning, it's like going to stimulate other things. And I'm like, even for me, I'm like, I get busy too. And like, I got kids doing homeschool stuff. So it's like Joy said, it's about creating the schedule and putting you in your schedule. So yes, things always come up, but like make an appointment for yourself. Like if you made an appointment with me, are you going to cancel? Probably not. So like make yourself that priority and trust, say like you've earned your time. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love the feeling you get when you've worked out because you sleep so much better. Like I love that feeling when I climb into my bed at night and my body feels tired because I've done something like that. I just love that feeling because I know I'm going to sleep really well.
Interesting question, Joy, then. Okay. A lot of what is it, lactic acid, Julie, that causes that feeling, that soreness?
Lactic acid, yes, will make you sore. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk nutrition here a bit. Let's mix that in as well.
Yeah.
What is good to fight that, perhaps to even relieve you of it?
Yeah, so of course exercise creates stress in the body. It increases stress hormones. It increases inflammation. So we want to do things to combat that. Mm-hmm. So incorporating anti-inflammatory foods that are richly colored, different reds and purples like cabbage and greens like kale. Turmeric is an amazing, incredibly anti-inflammatory superfood, which you can take as a supplement, or you could drink a golden tea like a turmeric tea. There are so many plant foods that are naturally anti-inflammatory. So, sweet red peppers, and I already mentioned cabbage and kale and spinach and apples. Apples have quercetin in them, pomegranate seeds. So just making sure that you eat a rainbow, and that will help your body to really thrive. And I also really like that Julie mentioned that not everybody should be doing like super high intensity exercise. Like people who have a lot of stress, it's just going to make you feel more stressed. And years ago when I stopped running so much and I started doing yoga instead, I lost 10 pounds and I didn't change anything other than the type of exercise I was doing. I went from super intense and I was inflamed all the time. I knew it, I felt it in my body. To doing yoga regularly, and it really had such a huge difference on my wellness.
Okay.
And that's one thing I was going to say is some people struggle with going to sleep. So like if you don't move on a regular basis, and then somebody might say like, I struggle, I wake up in the middle of the night, or I can't get to sleep, I have insomnia and some type of sleep issue. One exercise I actually recommend is actually just laying on the floor with your feet up against the wall. And you just move your legs, like you can move your legs up and down the wall. You can do like a V-sit, if you will, or just rotate your legs in and out. That alone for 5 minutes will help stimulate the circulation that you need to help you fall asleep and actually help you move your body and circulate things and reduce the inflammation or edema that you may have in the lower part of your body. So it may actually help you sleep better.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. I'm going to reset myself here. I'm going to bring a stool up in front of the camera. All right. Hold on here.
You're putting a costume
and
on?
All right, how's that, Parker? Right, you're gonna have to set me up here. All right. Let's go to that one here. 1 second, guys. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's do some lightning questions right now. Lightning round question. Parker, you're going to have to yell out the questions to me that people are saying. I'm going to start with one someone had mentioned earlier. Someone had said, what about menopause now? And I'm going to get both of you to answer that from a fitness and a movement standpoint and from a health standpoint.
Yeah, so sorry, foods for menopause?
Foods, from a food point and from a movement point. So let's start. Joy, why don't you start?
Yeah, sure. Eat lots of foods that help the body better detoxify, which is going to help your estrogen and testosterone balance. So making sure you're eating things like cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, mustard greens, arugula. Who doesn't like arugula? And fermented foods. So eat things like tempeh, sauerkraut, kimchi. These are all really great foods for hormonal balance.
And Julie, what about movement? Now, Julie, interesting thing is that your clientele mainly is over 40.
Majority, yes.
Yeah. So tell me about menopause.
Menopause it's basically a hormone imbalance, if you will. So I really focus on lymphatic flow, lymphatic movements, essentially. So more of your walking, your gentle mobility flows. You're going to need some strength training, but not intense. So basically, if you're in menopause, the one thing I would avoid is high intensity interval training, too much of it, because it's going to throw off your hormone imbalances because your body's already confused, let's say, in terms of what's going on. So I stimulate, I basically call shake off the rust, or you get a stability ball and you just bounce on it. That stuff is going to help stimulate the lymphatic flow that you need during menopause.
Okay. What about eating? When do you eat and what do you eat before a workout and after a workout? Joy.
I think that really depends on you. I think it's such an individual question. I am not someone who feels good eating and then working out, whereas I know other people, I'll use my husband as an example, who can eat an entire meal and then go work out. I would literally throw up. So I think it really depends on you. Our biochemistries are also all very unique, but of course after a workout, I do recommend smoothies are great, so you get your carbs, your proteins, and your fats.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joy, I got a question. Can you clarify for me? So I was told a long time ago, I took a course, and they said not to have any OSAs after a workout because of the glycogen.
Yeah, well, okay, so there are so many different opinions. So when you're saying OSAs, for everybody who's wondering, she's talking about sugar, sucrose, glucose, but then that basically rules out any sort of plant-based food because, of course, there's natural source sugars. So I don't necessarily agree with that because that's the optimal time when your muscle cells are going to uptake that glycogen. So, there's that perspective as well. I would just want to look into more like what that particular research is showing and why it recommends that. Because, like nutritional science, you can find anything that confirms what your bias is.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to see what your opinion was on it. Just because everybody, like you talk about keto versus paleo, where different schools of macros and whatnot. So it's always interesting to see what other people's thoughts are. But the thing is that my stance is everybody's unique. So you really have to figure out what works for you. And so that's why my answer would be the same thing to Kevin is, what do I eat before, after? I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't tell you what to eat. I would say experiment with different things. You just have to listen to your body. Again, you have to tune in. So you have to be more mindful of what's actually happening and not just follow the masses and this is what I read somewhere that I should read, or this is what I should eat because I read it on the internet. Well, it's on the internet.
Well, everything on the internet is true.
Yeah, everything is. Ask Donald Trump. You know, so yeah.
All right. There was someone had a question there about getting cramps in your calves. So I'm wondering if they mean like shin splints, that kind of feeling.
Maybe maybe.
What was that,
Magnesium.
Joy?
Well, I was going to say a lot of times that can just be like an electrolyte imbalance, like magnesium deficiency. And
Oh.
most North Americans are magnesium deficient because
you
it's
keep
like
br- Joy keeps
Sorry?
bringing up the M word. And the M word with Joy is not melatonin, which everybody was all gung-ho. Your M word is magnesium.
It's an incredible anti-stress mineral. It helps muscles relax, whereas calcium contracts, but most people don't have enough magnesium. So that can sometimes be why you get calf cramps at night. Some people get them at night, or you're just dehydrated. Could be you're just not drinking enough water.
Yep.
Okay.
And on my YouTube channel, I actually just put a video for people who have nighttime cramps. There are trigger points that are in your lower body that can actually contract the muscle. And so what we do is release those trigger points, and that'll allow the muscle to relax as well.
She's saying that her leg, the calf tightens.
Yeah,
When?
so it's like a cramp, sounds like.
Yeah.
When does
So
the
that
cramp?
who is
When
that?
she goes
That's
to bed or when?
who is that? That was Carol. Yeah, Carol. So tell me, when does it tighten? When does it tighten? When you work out? Does it? What does it say?
I take a high dose of vitamin D.
She takes a high dose of vitamin D, but
She needs magnesium,
you need magnesium.
more water.
So they're suggesting magnesium at night.
electrolytes. Actually, one thing I was told, I don't know if you agree with this, is putting Himalayan salt in your water to help with the electrolyte. So that's what I would suggest too.
Yeah, tons of minerals.
Joy, can you please tell me about Himalayan salt? Am I okay to use Himalayan salt?
Yeah, it's so different than table salt. Table salt is sodium chloride, which is just so refined, whereas Himalayan salt is that pink salt.
Yeah,
or
I got it
Epsom
here.
salt.
I've got it right here.
Yeah, so the great thing
Yeah.
about this is you can have up to 30 or 40 different trace minerals. So it's, good for your blood pressure. Of course, everything in moderation. You don't want to be,
Are you gonna lick it? Like,
Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. So yeah, it's that pinkish hue, right?
yeah.
Okay.
and they come in all different colors too, so it's not just
Yeah,
pink.
But-
so I like what Julie said. Like you can make your own electrolyte drink. Like you could use a little bit of maple syrup and a pinch of sea salt with some water, and make your own little workout drink. That's a great option.
Okay. Are there caveats? What are there warnings about Himalayan salt? Too much, etc.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to pour a tablespoon into, 250 ml. I think you just have to use your best judgment.
Yeah.
I salt my food whether I'm making a salad or I'm making curry or whatever it is I'm eating. I use a Celtic salt or a pink salt or a Himalayan salt.
Okay.
Salt just really brings out the flavor in things. It makes food really tasty. But there's a really big difference. I really wish that everyone would just get rid of table salt. It has no part in our diet. We should really not use it.
Table salt and refined sugar. If we just
Exactly.
wipe those off the planet, we'd solve a lot of problems.
We'd be a lot further ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Questions, Parker? I'm trying to. Hold on. They're still talking about Carol's leg cramps. Hold on. My doctor. Okay. 2,000 of vitamin which a day? I presume it's vitamin D. A lot of people are talking about vitamin D, right? What's your thoughts on how much, when, how much is too much?
Yeah, well, I think we know that most North Americans, some experts say anywhere from 70 to 80% of the population of Canada is vitamin D deficient. So, it's a pretty safe bet that you can take a supplement safely. However, how much you should take is really depending on where you're at. Obviously, we're not running to the doctor to get a vitamin D test right now, but when you can, I do recommend, in Ontario, it's $36. Get a test, find out what your vitamin D levels are, and then, when you get your blood work, it gives you the range, and so then how much you can take. I think a good standard dose for people, but it's still very low, is 2,000 to 3,000, but that's pretty low. So that's an amount that you could take safely without knowing what your vitamin D level is. And with children, Health Canada recommends at least 600 IUs. Sorry, a maximum of 600 IUs is what Health Canada recommends. But I actually personally, as a nutritionist, think that that's a low even for children. So if my daughter is coming down with something or it's cold and flu season, I actually give her more vitamin D than just 600 IUs.
Okay.
What should we use instead of white sugar to sweeten tea or coffee?
Okay, good question. Instead of white sugar, which a lot of people are using in their tea and coffee, they want to know other alternatives. So I mean, there's obviously stevia. Some people use maple sugar or maple syrup, and anything else.
That was
Honey. I really like honey.
Ishkanian.
What's that?
Monk fruit is gaining popularity as well. You can find monk fruit sweetener at health food stores. It's lower in the glycemic index, so that's an option too. And everything you just mentioned as well, Kevin. Or try and go like cold turkey and not put anything in your coffee and see how you like it.
That's what I did. I did. I used to take my coffee regular, so I went down to, the first thing I did was I switched from cream to milk. Then I went from 1 full sugar to half a sugar, and so now all I put in my coffee is some almond milk.
That's amazing. And almond milk, almonds are a bit sweet tasting too, so you're getting, that sort of natural sweetness from the almonds. But I think it really helps your taste buds adjust, when you do cut out sugar, because then when you do have something with sugar, you're like, wow, that is really sweet.
All right. One more question, and then we're going to call it a night.
Okay, Lori Lamson asked, I am skipping rope. How many skips should I be doing daily?
Skipping rope. Skipping rope, Julie. Tell me about that. She's skipping rope, so...
Yep.
How many times?
Well, you can do it... that's setting up goals. Go for time. How many can she do without stopping or whatever? I would do it as a Tabata. Is actually a really good fun one. But also like set up an interval style is what I would do it to keep it interesting. Or can you do like 100 without stopping and then 200 the next day and then work your way up to 500 and and then get all fancy and stuff. But jumping is actually one of the best things I recommend. I actually have a trampoline for, especially if you're menopause. It's really, really good. So yeah, it's a really good exercise. Especially if you can handle the pounding, but yeah.
All right. I can't thank you enough. This has been a fun hour. I'm going to have both of you back. You make a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun.
So once again, Julie Tom has been talking to me from her home in Barrie. And she, of course, runs fitimize.ca. She's on Facebook, Fitimize Fitness. Lots of great advice there. You said as well, you do some sort of you do something live as well?
Yep, in the morning. I started on Monday, yesterday actually, at 7:45 in the morning. So I just do, every day I do it. Like this morning was Trigger Point Tuesday. So I did some Trigger Point release. Tomorrow will be Workout Wednesday. Every day is a little bit different. So it's just 10 minutes to get you going in the morning.
Is that your Facebook page? On your Facebook page?
No, that's on my Instagram.
On Instagram. And what is your Instagram?
At Fitimize Fitness.
At Fitimize Fitness on Instagram. Join Julie tomorrow morning. What time?
7:45.
7:45.
It's only 10 minutes. It's because I have to do before school starts.
So join Julie on Instagram live at 7:45 every morning at Fitimize Fitness. Joy McCarthy, who is the author of several books, including her latest cookbook, as well as your podcast. And it's joyoushealth.com.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I want to make sure I got the com. Okay. joyoushealth.com. And tell me about your podcast.
I do a cooking class. I do a free cooking class every Friday on my Instagram at 12 noon.
Wow.
So if anyone's interested, and often my daughter's with me too.
What's your Instagram?
Joyous Health. So JOYOUS Health. Just at Joyous Health. Every single Friday at 12 noon, I do a cooking class.
That's fantastic. All right. Thank you both. Good health to both of you. And I definitely will have you back on again because I think I've got to get this back into the bikini body. Honestly, I was doing so well before isolation. I was down 2 belt sizes. I was so proud of myself.
Wow.
And I just put it back on.
You can do it again.
Yeah.
Just get walking again. You can do it.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow night. Don't forget, Mayor John Tory is joining me here on Thursday evening. Until then, thanks for joining me. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey coronavirus, I want my life back. Well, hey coronavirus, I want my